Let us know in the chat, what is something that has been bringing you joy lately? Rachel says the sunshine. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Rachel. We've had just the littlest bit of sunshine here in Pittsburgh, too, where we are. And it's like, you know, you don't think the winter affects you, and then you get one sunny day and you feel like you have superpowers. It's like, oh man, can I cure everything? Oh no, I'm just not sad. Okay, great. Sounds like it's similar for you too, Shauna. Great to see you, Shauna. Thanks for being here. Some warm Iowa weather, that's great to hear. I'll be heading back to Iowa in April, so, you know, maintain. Welcome in. Who else we got here? We got Karen. Welcome in, Karen. Hey there, Sarah. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Emma. How you doing, Sue? Welcome in. We're going to hang out here for just a couple minutes to let a few folks join in case they're running late. But yeah, let us know in the chat. What are some things that have been bringing you joy lately? Matt, I'll pose that question to you. What's something that's been bringing you joy lately?
What has been bringing me joy? I mean, yep, certainly the weather, without a doubt. But I got to dog sit last week, and that was a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've gotten to have a little pet dog around.
Yeah, that dog was really cute. It was our friend Jordan's dog. The dog's name is Indiana Jones. It's great. It's like 6 pounds of sass. Oh, what else? Oh, very similar to Karen. Karen says her puppy is bringing her joy. That's great. Glad to hear it. You got to tell us your puppy's name, Karen. That's the rule here at CodeJoy. If you bring up a pet, you have to tell us the pet's name. And Sarah says, kids' birthdays. Oh, I wonder if those are your kids you keep at home or the ones you keep at school. I think birthdays at school, I just remember like what a big deal that was. Like, oh, what kinds of cupcakes am I gonna bring? And then when the whole like peanut allergy thing became a thing, it's like, okay, what am I gonna bring that doesn't have peanuts? And let us know. Oh, Karen's dog's name is Pumpkin or Punk when she's naughty. I like that. Great name.
Yeah.
We had a little dog named Tootsie, and when she got older, we just called her Toots. So she aged into that one.
Like a diner waitress.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, welcome in, Donna. Hey, Beth. We're just hanging out here for maybe one more minute and asking a question in the chat of what is something that has been bringing you joy lately? And then we'll get started with some information about our STEM Scale-Up program. And yeah, Donna, absolutely. We're recording this session right now, and so we will send this recording to everybody who signed up so that you can rewatch it yourself if you're just like, man, I just want to watch some more CodeJoy. Or if you want to share it with a colleague, we'll share the recording with you. Thanks for bringing that up. No problem. And I'm assuming a makeup class means that someone is making something up with you, but I'm choosing to believe you're learning how to do blush, and I approve. That's great. Learning how to apply eyeliner. All right. Yeah, we can go ahead and bring our music down here. Thank you, Matt. Well, welcome in, everybody. I'm so glad that all of you are here. We'll go ahead and start off our informational webinar here. We're going to keep everybody muted just so we get nice clean audio that comes through, but we'll be using that chat a lot today. So if at any points during our explanation of our program today, if you've got any questions or comments, things that you want to add, it's an open chat and we're all cool here. So feel free to pop anything that you'd like in there, but we'll kick it off with some introductions. My name is Kelsey Derringer, if we haven't met before, and I'm the co-founder of this company called CodeJoy. And I've got my co-founder here with me as well, Matt. Bring you a microphone here.
Oh, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name's Matt. You're probably not going to see much of me today. I spend most of my time in the tech booth there. So I'm going to be monitoring sound and cameras and then answering any questions you may have in the chat. So I'll be seeing you on the chat.
All right. If you guys haven't worked with us before, we are CodeJoy. We are an educational media company. We're based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, although I'm from West Des Moines, Iowa. So I've driven all around Iowa doing like dance competitions and marching band stuff. in my youth, but based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania now. But we're able to come to you guys in Iowa and all the places you are in Iowa because as an educational media company, we have a studio. So I'm coming to you from that studio here today. And in fact, just to get your bearings here, when I say studio, I mean that we have like an honest to goodness television studio here in Pittsburgh with cameras and lights and all kinds of different things so that we can reach students and teachers all over the country. In fact, all over the world. We just did a student show this morning for a group in the UK. So we can reach everybody everywhere because thanks to some recent world events, just about everybody has some internet now. So that means that we can talk to you and reach you wherever you are. So we have been part of the Iowa STEM Scale Up program as a company since 2021. The program that we're offering this year is actually our 6th Iowa STEM Scale Up program. Now, nationally, we've reached over 12,000 teachers, but just through the Iowa STEM Scale Up program, we've reached over 600 teachers across the state of Iowa through those 6 programs. And I'm very proud to say we have a 100% completion rate. So everybody who starts learning with us finishes learning with us, and that's a really big point of pride for us. And I think the virtual way that we deliver content is one big strength about how we're able to reach everybody. And knowing folks like Shauna, you've been with us for a long time. Thank you for nodding. Yeah, that's how we reach everybody. We reach you where you are. A little bit about our program that we're offering for the Iowa STEM Scale Up project this year. So we're trying to solve a few different problems that we've been noticing in classrooms, especially when it comes to AI. One problem being that, all right, so maybe you as a teacher have had some professional development on how to use that tool that your school has a subscription to, but like, what are you supposed to do with the kids in the classroom? Now, there's some unplugged activities, but like, what's actually safe and, dare I say, fun to do in the classroom? That's one question that we're going to ask. Another one is, all right, well, one of the big topics around AI is how it's changing work and the workforce and jobs. So how can we help our students make connections between what they're learning in the classroom and various careers, and how can we use AI as an avenue to do that? And then thirdly, maybe your school has not provided any AI professional development for you or your staff. Maybe you, like most schools in the country, are experiencing a little bit of the Wild West right now. Well, this program aims to solve all of these different problems. So our program is called Exploring AI and the Future of Work, which I'll admit, it sounds a little dry, but I swear it's going to be really fun, I promise. So there's 3 main parts of our program that we're offering. One is professional development. So we're going to be offering 4 3-hour sessions as part of this, so 12 hours of professional development. All of that will be live and virtual. We're also going to be offering some free hardware for your classroom so that you can get hands-on and do some hands-on projects with your students. And finally, we're going to also be offering some extension activities. And if you've done a STEM scale-up project with us before, this is new. We haven't been able to offer this before, but thanks to the Department of Education for the state of Iowa, they've restructured the STEM scale-up program a little bit and allowed us the opportunity to extend our learning with you beyond the initial professional development. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of these, but we're going to talk about all of those different components of our program via 3 activities. So today during this webinar, we thought we'd preview for you 3 different activities that we're going to teach amongst many others, just to give you a sense of how our program is weaving together AI, careers, and the classroom. Now, you can learn a little bit more about our program at that website that we just put in the chat there. It would be go.codejoy.org/IASTEM26. And if you click on it, it'll look like this. So this website here is a place where you can learn a lot more about the program. You can sign up for this webinar that's happening right now and a future one we're going to do next week if you'd like. But you can learn a little bit more about the background behind the program, some quick facts about it, including all of the various hardware that you're going to get, how long those professional development sessions last, some sample activities outlined here as well. A little bit about what it's like to do professional development with CodeJoy. There's a video there and everything, and some more information about how you can apply. And we're going to come back to that in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and preview 3 activities for you. So in the chat, I wonder, can you let me know yes or no? Have you ever used a tool called Google Teachable Machine before? Let me know in the chat. Have you used Google Teachable Machine? And if not, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so Matt's going to bring me my laptop. Thank you so much, Matt. Perfect. And he even brought my mouse. What a nice guy. Okay, so no, no, nope. Seen but not used. I hear you. Cool. Okay. Well, to preview Google Teachable Machine for you, I actually have my laptop here. And this laptop, I have set up Google Teachable Machine so that I can show you what it looks like. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what my computer sees. There we go. Here on Google Teachable Machine, what I've done is I have set up some classes or categories. So what I'm attempting to make is a recycling sorting machine, something that could tell me visually whether or not something is recyclable. So I've set up this category here of paper, things that are made of paper that are recyclable. And using my webcam, I took 337 pictures. It took about 30 seconds. It's very quick. I also set up the category of glass, which is recyclable, and I took some pictures. I set up the category of aluminum, which is recyclable, and I took some pictures. And then I also set up the category of no or non-recyclable, things that don't fit into that category. Once I had finished setting these things up, and I just used my webcam to do this, although you can also add pictures that you have like saved as well. I trained the model, which took about 45 seconds. And now what you're seeing over here on the right-hand side of the screen is I'm using my webcam to get a readout of what is and is not recyclable. So you can see my webcam right here, and my face is non-recyclable. Great. I have some other things to show it as well. So here in my bag of stuff, I have this tea box, which it categorized into paper, recyclable. I've got a toilet paper tube, which should be in paper, recyclable. There we go. Now I'm noticing if I hold it down here, it's not sure, it's not recognizing it. So I could go back into my data and take a picture of it down here because I want it to recognize it down there. But let's try something glass. Here I've got a glass jar. Hey, look at that. It categorized it into glass, recyclable. We've got an aluminum can here. There we go, aluminum. Should be recyclable. Now it's not quite picking up on that. Now, do you notice that in my aluminum recyclable category, I have significantly fewer pictures in there. I only have 129 pictures in there versus the other ones I have 200 or even 400 pictures in there. So I should probably go back and add some data to my aluminum recycling because it's not picking up on that as strongly as I want it to. But then I could get some things that are not recyclable, like, you know, your standard rubber duck. It's like, yeah, it's pretty sure. Also, interestingly, you can see that it's not showing yes or no. It's showing a confidence level. So if I show it nothing, I trained it to say that that's nothing, that's null. But if I have my duck far enough back, it's not seeing it. I didn't train it on that. But as I bring it closer, yeah, it's able to see that a little bit better. Okay, what other things do I have in my bag? I have some paper. Yep, that's recyclable. I've got one of Matt's cool glass Coke bottles here. Yeah, it's pretty sure that's glass. Yep. Oh, and then I have one other fun non-recyclable things. I'm always getting told by Amanda Jean that we can't recycle things that have food waste on them. So food, not recyclable. But as you can see, this is a tool, Google Teachable Machine, that is, you could train it to recognize all kinds of different things, right? We could train it to recognize rock or paper or scissors and then set up a game where we play rock, paper, scissors. But what does this have to do with the classroom? Well, there's actually a bunch of different activities one could do with Google Teachable Machine in the classroom. However, we're going to do a few different activities during the course of our professional development. And Matt, I'm going to give you back my laptop here, if I may. And we're going to relate each of these activities to different careers. So for example, thank you, we might talk about manufacturing, which is a big deal in Iowa, and how could we use AI vision to help sort things in manufacturing. That's one tool that we'll be using, and we'll be talking about not only the career connections with that tool, but also the classroom connections. How could you use something like that in English class or social studies class or civics education? So that's one tool that we'll be using. Let's preview a second activity that we're going to do. We're also going to connect to the topic of precision agriculture. And to do that, we're going to be using a kit called the Farm Beats for Students kit. So in this kit, you get a tool that many of you are probably quite familiar with, a microbit. This is a microbit-based kit. A microbit is just a programmable little robot, basically, but it's a little square. But this kit also comes with some alligator clips and some additional tools, like right here, I have a soil moisture sensor. So what could you do with a microbit and a soil moisture sensor? Well, you could make something like this. So here I've got a plant, a little pothos plant. And in this plant, I have a soil moisture sensor. So this soil moisture sensor, the way it works is it's measuring conductivity. And it'll measure things that are more or less conductive. Now, wet soil is more conductive than dry soil. And so when I turn this on, you'll see that I've also hooked up to my microbit here. I've also hooked up a motor. And this motor is attached to a bendy straw, which is half submerged in a cup of water. So make a prediction in your head, or maybe in the chat. What do you think is going to happen when I turn this whole contraption on? All right, do you have your prediction? Here we go. All right, so it's gathering some soil moisture data there. And let's say my soil gets really dry, so I'm going to take my soil moisture sensor out. Ooh, try again. I got to line this up perfect or I dump water on the table. If my soil is dry, like I just took it out of that pot, right? It's gathering a couple drops of water with this straw here, and then it's dumping them into the plant, but only so long as it's dry. When it's wet, like the soil actually is, like if I embed the soil moisture sensor in the soil, this plant is pretty well watered, so it stops. So precision agriculture is all about gathering reliable data, making decisions about what that data means, and then using that data to solve problems. So we're going to do a little bit of AI, data collection, and apply that to precision agriculture, a topic that, is pretty important in the great state of Iowa, as I bet you can imagine. And so the hardware that you'll get will be the microbits, the soil moisture sensors, the motors, perhaps even a pump. You'll get a set of 15 of these so that you can serve a group of 30 if kids pair up. So you'll get a classroom set of 30 hardware things that you can use. So that's another activity. Now that, as you're thinking about other teachers that you may want to apply with, you don't have to apply just by yourself. You can actually apply for this along with other teachers in your school. Do you guys have an ag program or an FFA chapter at your school? They're already perhaps familiar with the Farm Beats kit because we've been teaching FFA chapters across the state. So if they'd like to collaborate with you or do something like that, that would be a great person to apply with. Maybe you only need one set of classroom materials, but get both teachers trained so that you've got a friend who knows what you're talking about at the school. So ag teachers, science teachers would be great people to apply with in this program. All right, let's preview one other activity. And this activity also uses a microbit. And in this activity, we're going to use a tool called Microbit Create AI. So the microbit, this little tool, has a bunch of really powerful things that it can do. One of which is that it can sense different gestures. However, baseline, the microbit only senses certain gestures. It only senses left, right, up, down, some standard things. But with Microbit Create AI, you can gather data instead of image data like you saw in Teachable Machine. This is accelerometer data, so it's sensing different movements. And you can use machine learning to train it to recognize different gestures. So do you see the categories that I have set up here? There's jumping jacks, push-ups, and sit-ups. Don't worry, I'm not going to do any of those. Matt's going to do them. So Matt, I'll go to our behind the scenes camera here. Do you want to show folks what you're wearing? You've got a wearable there.
Yeah, so this is from Forward Education. It's just a little band with the microbit attached to it, and this wirely connects to the computer. So you can kind of see the readout there of the X, Y, and Z coordinates.
You want to grab the microphone too?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I backed away, so.
Yeah, of the X, Y, and Z coordinates as I move around. You could see that reacting on the screen there. Just like we were doing with Teachable Machine, we'll see if it could recognize different exercise movements. We're going to start with a jumping jack.
Uh-huh.
How am I doing?
Oh, good. It recognized it. You're doing a jumping jack. That's great.
Sure.
How about a push-up?
Push-up. Okay.
Yeah, this is why Matt's doing it. Hey, look at that. Does it recognize the push-up? Keep going. Yeah, there it goes. It recognized your push-up. Great job.
Excellent. Yeah, it was funny. We were trying that earlier. I'm like, oh, maybe if I just do this, it'll recognize it. But it actually,
nope.
It doesn't. You need to.
You got to do the real thing.
The way it was trained.
All right, the last one's a sit-up. Yeah, there you go. Now you got
to like warm it up.
Nice. Great demo, Matt.
Thank you. That's it. That's my workout for the day.
You got your workout in.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm so glad Matt's here because I don't want to do any of that. But why would this be relevant to something like a career? Well, biometric monitoring is a huge topic in healthcare. Perhaps you have heard of people wearing heart monitors or glucose monitors or various things like that. That is all using, something similar to this. It's got to be trained to their particular bodies, things like that. And we're going to use a project like this to explore things like that. So each of these projects, you can see that it has a connection to an actual Iowa career, and it has a connection to AI, but importantly, it's something that we think can work in your classroom. These are these are materials designed for classrooms. So they weren't designed for professionals. They were designed for kids and teachers with very little time and kids with very little attention, right? That's who these projects were designed for and these tools were designed for. They have excellent learning support materials to go along with it, and they're highly adaptable. So, hey, we'll teach you how to do this project, but like, if you think that something else might work better in your classroom, it's your classroom. So we're going to show you the tools and help you get familiar with using them. But then our hope is that you'll adapt any of these activities to be something that works for you, because you know that you guys do jump rope for heart in February. So, hey, how could this go with jump rope for heart or whatever the case may be? So that's a preview of 3 of the activities that we're going to cover in this program. If you guys have any questions about any of those projects or any of our other projects we're going to cover, feel free to pop those questions in the chat. And you can, Matt just popped the website link back in there as well. So let's speak a little bit about the format for the professional development. So the professional development is going to be hosted live, virtual, like this. So you'll need like a computer or Chromebook to join in with it. But it's all going to be hosted at after school and out of school times. So you don't need to find a sub, which is great because I hear that there aren't any anymore. So you don't need to find a sub. This will be out of school time. But because it's virtual, we've had teachers many, many times join from home. And hey, if you've got a kiddo who might be interested in this, bring them in. This could be a communal learning experience, but hopefully you don't need to find like childcare, things like that. But I'm also very excited to announce that because these things are happening out of school time, we were able to secure a stipend for teachers. So you get paid $20 an hour for all of the hours you spend doing professional development, because like that's your time with your family, and we really want to honor that by getting you guys paid. So hey, that's another way to encourage other teachers at your school to join in. You actually make money coming to this professional development. So that's a little bit about that PD. We'll be offering each of those sessions multiple times so that we can keep class sizes small. Even if we have 300 teachers accepted into this program, we're never going to have more than 35, maybe 50 teachers in a Zoom at once. And we'll always have somebody like Matt on as tech support so that at any point, if you're struggling, if something's not working, you never have to struggle alone or suffer in silence. You can suffer loudly with Matt in a breakout room. That's what he's here to do. He's here to help. So that's a little bit about that professional development. That's going to be happening between like August and November. So we're going to kind of spread that out so that your learning will continue. As far as the hardware goes, just as we're thinking back through the components of this program. So program is called Exploring AI and the Future of Work. So we talked a little bit about the professional development. As far as the hardware goes, it'll be shipped to you in 2 batches. So the hardware will be shipped in 2 batches. One batch, a small batch, will be sent to you ahead of time so that you can participate in all of that hands-on professional development. And then once you've done the professional development, the rest of it will be shipped to your school. So you'll have all of that hardware most likely by like November-ish. So you can plan to like use it in your classroom sort of Q2 and beyond. We did have a question that came in the chat. What if you're interested, but you won't be staying at the same school? That's a great question. I would say still apply. And Matt, would you note that person's name?
Sure.
And that person, would you send us a private message with your email address? I want to forward your question on to our friends at the STEM Council just to make sure that we're giving you the right advice on that. But can you send us your email in a private message and we'll forward that on. Let's see. Elizabeth also asked, could we talk with somebody about what course connections could be made? We want to be more intentional about our programs. Absolutely. Elizabeth, you can always reach out to, and I'm going to put our email on here, hello@codejoy.org. That comes to me and a couple other folks on my team as well. And I can send you like a calendar link so we can schedule a chat so that we can think about how to best incorporate all of this into your classroom. Yeah, so feel free to send me an email about that. Yeah. But then finally, so we've got some professional development, we've got some hardware coming to you, and then we've also got, and this is brand new this year, some extension activities. So these extension activities are meant to extend beyond the professional development and help you bring this into your classroom and into your school in a more expansive way, a more intentional way. So there's going to be 3 different options for extension activities. One of them, many of you have come to before, is CodeJoy student shows. So in this big fancy studio that we've got here, we produce a live interactive TV show for kids. So during this program, the kids learn to code, and then their code actually controls our robots live during the program. And it all centers around this little hole in my wall back here. If you guys have ever seen like Fraggle Rock, this is very much like Fraggle Rock. Matt used to work for the Jim Henson Company, so you can see some puppets, the echoes of some puppets around here. But the kids learn to code, and their code controls our robots. And especially when thinking about AI and career connections, coding still really is a part of that. And so we want to make sure that students have a nice basis in computational thinking. But if you're curious what those shows look like, I have a little video preview for you right now.
Hello, I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are going to be learning about some coding and robotics, and you, from wherever you are, you're going to get to control our robots live. We're going to play some mini golf. You guys are going to help us program the obstacles, and a couple of you are even going to golf live. That's amazing!
Now we've got some code here from Hannah that I'd like to take a look at.
All right, Hannah, here's what your code looks like. So I know there are some folks here in the room who have come to those student shows. So if you have certain things that you wish teachers knew about them, feel free to put that in the chat. If you've been to a student show and you want to let other teachers know about them, those student shows, a little bit of background, they're 45 minutes each. We can have up to 400 students join in a single show. And depending on what the ultimate interest is in this program, we may be able to do private shows for your school or host public shows at times that work with your school calendar, like bell schedule kind of thing. But those can be a really low floor, easy way to get a bunch of kids at your school interested in coding, thinking about coding, engaging in coding. So that's going to be one of the options for extension activities. Oh, and Shauna, thanks. Shauna says, student shows are amazing. I've done it as low as second grade, and the 45 minutes go by fast. The kids are extremely engaged. Love it. Thanks, Shauna. That's really nice feedback. I'm so glad to see you here today, and I know we've worked with your kids a lot. So real feedback from real classrooms. So that's one option for an extension activity. A second option is that we are developing a similar experience, but instead of being about coding, it'll be about AI. So we're piloting some of those experiences this spring, but it'll basically be a student experience using something like Google Teachable Machine. Those groups might be a little bit smaller and the scheduling might be a little bit different, but it'll be a way to bring AI into your classroom through an interactive student experience, similar to a CodeJoy student show. And then the third option for the extension activities is coaching, because we would love it if you are like the totally like smartest person at your school, but we would also love it if you had some other people around who could like help explain this, or an admin who knew what you were talking about, right? So the other option is that we can do this either virtually or in person, because we have a few folks in the state of Iowa who are there to help us out. We can come in and do a half-day coaching session with your staff. Now, what does that mean? Well, we'd talk with you and perhaps your admin about what you want to do that day. Would it be a time when, hey, we've already had this training and this training, we just need some help laying out a scope and sequence for AI activities? Great. We can plan a half-day coaching session about that. Or maybe it's like, dude, my admin knows nothing about this and they don't know what they're talking about. Could we do a half-day with my admin? Yeah, we won't tell them you said that, but we'll plan something like that, right? So like you as a teacher, you have this amazing perspective on what's happening in your school. And so that's another option that you can use. So there's a half-day coaching session to use as you see fit, 45-minute CodeJoy student shows, or a little bit longer, like hour-long AI student experiences. But zooming back out on the program as a whole, exploring AI in the future of work, there's 12 hours of professional development, a full classroom set of hands-on hardware, and some ongoing extension activities for the rest of the school year to help you bring this into the classroom. So that is the program. Now, if you guys have any questions about any elements of that program, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'll address some more questions in just a little bit. But how do you apply for this program? Now, some of you, you're old hats. You've been here, you've been doing it, but let me talk you through it, because it changed a little bit this year. You may have known this already, but the Iowa STEM Scale-Up program used to be housed under the Iowa Governor's STEM Council, which was actually separate from the Department of Education. But this year, it got brought under that bigger umbrella of the Department of Education. So there's a new sheriff in town. They're running things a little bit differently, and we're here to help. So on that page, and Matt, I wonder if you'd be able to share that website again. Thank you. So on that page at the very bottom, there's a section that says, how can teachers apply? So first of all, you got to be a teacher in Iowa, which I think y'all are. That's cool. But we've got this informational webinar here today. There's also this big button that says apply now. At any time, if you click that button, that will take you directly to the Iowa STEM application page. So this is how you get in and apply. But if you're looking for a little bit more support on applying, we also created what we're calling our grant writing planning tool. So if you click on that, it'll end up making your own copy for you, and I have one here. But in this document, you'll find important dates. Importantly, This whole thing is due March 10th, which is sooner than you think. So your applications are due March 10th. Some first steps as to like how to set up your account for Iowa STEM and the website, some application tips and info, some detailed application stuff, and the questions. I find this to be really, really helpful. Like, what are they going to ask me? I don't want to be typing that directly in their website because, like, what if it crashes? What if my computer dies? Whatever. Here is a tool where here's all the questions they're going to ask you so that you can plan out your responses. And then when you go in to apply, you can just copy and paste what you've already written. So there's some really helpful information in here, but again, it just goes through all of those questions in there so that you can plan it out. This is also really helpful if you're wanting to like apply as a group. You would want to reference each other. So let's say like Jenny and Joanne work at the same school and they're both going to apply. Joanne would want to say in here, Jenny and I are applying together. Now, I believe you still apply separately, but you'd want to reference each other. That's something that I've heard from the Iowa STEM team boosts your application if you're saying, hey, I'm coordinating this in this, and this way. Or I'm going to learn this, but I'm going to bring this back and bring my ag teacher into it. They're really interested in ways that teachers can be working together in a coordinated way with the district. So that planning tool there is, I think, going to be really helpful for you. That is the grant writing planning tool, which is linked at the very bottom of the how to apply section. And there's a button for it as well. And when you click on that, it'll open a copy for you. So you don't have to worry about like messing up our original. You can't have it. It'll make you a copy. But there's that one. And then there's also, if you want some like a live support, we're hosting a grant writing planning workshop and really like a writing support workshop for next week on the 25th. And so there's a link in there to apply for that, but you'll see a page that looks like this. This was the informational webinar. After this, that'll go away, but you'll see this grant writing support session. So it's 3 hours long, but it's really just drop in. So it's from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock Central Time. If you or any of your friends want to, if you're just like, I don't know how to answer this question, Amanda Jean Strode, our Director of Learning, she's going to be hosting that, and she has helped so many teachers write grants, especially in the state of Iowa, through programs like the Iowa Computer Science Professional Development Incentive Fund. So she's real good at it. If you want some grant writing support, she's here to help with that. But that's how to apply for the program directly and getting some support for it. But let me open it back up to questions from you guys. So what are you guys curious about? What questions do you have? We had one come in from Elizabeth. If I'm not a teacher, but I'm the tech integration facilitator that would support the teacher, can I apply for them? Yes, and you can apply yourself as well. So there's a couple different ways I've seen schools do this. Number one, they've like applied for themselves and then changed it, said like, hey, I'm Elizabeth, but I'm not like, I'm applying, and they'll call it a placeholder. So you can apply as a placeholder. You could apply for yourself and a placeholder. So you could say like, I'm Elizabeth and I'm applying for myself, and I'd like a placeholder because we're hiring a technology teacher, but we don't know their name yet. That's totally cool. That is that's very common. A lot of schools do that. So you can apply yourself, Elizabeth, and you could apply for a placeholder position for another teacher. Yeah. But what other questions do you guys have about the program or about STEM Scale Up? Feel free to let us know. Yeah, Karen wondered, can you explain more about the 3-year aspect of the program? So that is another that's new. So in the past, Iowa STEM was only ever a 1-year program. And so, as the providers, we would need to, do a new program or apply with the same program. But what they're planning to do is they're planning to turn this into now a 3-year program. And so I don't have all the details, to be perfectly honest with you, Karen, because it's new. But what I do know is the intention is that if you're a teacher who participated in year 1, that there will be ongoing support for you in year 2 and year 3. I don't know if you have to reapply in year 2 and 3 or if you're automatically in. I'm not sure about that yet. I don't know that it's like required. Like if you complete year 1, you get to keep all the stuff, right? So like if you can't participate in year 2 or 3, we'll I don't think that'll be an issue. But the idea is that if you're in year one, that you'll have a way to have an ongoing participation in years 2 and 3. So when we submitted the program, we had to also submit, what does that ongoing professional development look like in year 2? What does that ongoing PD look like in year 3? So in years 2 and 3, I believe we submitted 2 3-hour PD sessions and 2 3-hour PD sessions. So there'd be like 6 more hours of PD in year 2, 6 more hours of PD in year 3, and it would build on what you learned in year 1. But I believe that there are people who in that second year could apply for year 1. So we may be facilitating some learning for people in sort of different states of completion. You know what I mean? But yeah, the intention is that there will be options where you can continue on and, hey, Jenny, you completed year 1. Hey, we're going to do some ongoing things for you. So we're not going to repeat what we know you already completed. I wish I had more details about exactly how all that was going to work, but that's a new thing this year. Yeah. And the stipends, I do know that because we put it in the program. Those are for year 2 and 3 as well. So if you apply in year 1 and get accepted to the program, if you continue on in years 2 and 3, there's a $20 an hour stipend that goes along with that as well. Yeah, that I know. We were really excited to be able to include that this year. Yeah. What else? Other questions that you guys might have? Or perhaps if you don't have a question, but if you've participated in a STEM scale-up program with us before, if you have anything that you'd want to tell folks about what doing a STEM scale-up program is like, feel free to put your feedback in the chat. Should people do it? Is it worth it? I mean, you're here, so probably yes. But yeah, I'll put this up so we got our overview there. But yeah, other questions that you might have, we're here to answer them. And we're going to go ahead and hang out here the whole time until the 50-minute mark, just in case anybody has any other questions. But if you don't have any other questions and you feel good to go, you are released if you would like to sign off here. But if anybody does, we'll hang out here all the way until that 50-minute mark. But thank you guys so much for connecting with us today, for attending our webinar. I hope this gave you some useful information that you can take back to your team. And if you think of anything else and you're like, oh man, I really wish I would have asked blah, 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 well, feel free to email us, hello@codejoy.org, and I'll be looking out for any emails from you guys. Ooh, a couple other questions came in. Karen asks, does Google Teachable Machine require a subscription? Is it paid? No and no. You just log in, you just use it. And while it does use students' webcams, that's an option, although you don't have to use that option, it does not store any data. So Teachable Machine has been around since 2014, I believe, maybe 2017. I'm forgetting the exact year, but it's been around for quite a while, and it was designed for educational usage. So they were very conscientious about how student data is used and stored, which is not. It does not store student data. There is a way where you can download the data file that you created and use in other projects, which we'll be talking about. But even then, Google is not keeping any images that the kids took. There is one tool that we're going to use called PlayLab, which does require a subscription, but it is a free subscription, and they're very careful to say that it's a free subscription for life. And so we're going to be exploring PlayLab as a way to not just interact with a chatbot or LLM, but actually create your own chatbot that students could use, and potentially a chatbot that students could create. But we're going to talk through the sort of like ethics of student data and this particular company, why we chose them, and talk about whether or not a chatbot is a useful thing to use in your classroom. But we're going to use something called PlayLab, which does have a subscription, but it is a free subscription, and they're very careful to say it's free for life. So you should be good. Shauna says, we've completed CodeJoy training in the past and really loved it. It's engaging, exciting, and they're always available for a chat with timely responses as well through email. Oh, I'm so glad, Shauna. My email inbox is shamefully full right now, but that's why we have a team. So I forward things onto the team. Jenny, you're using your Finch robots with your third graders. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm so glad. That one was in 2022. Is that right? 2022, 2023. So, yeah. If you ever have any issues with them, let us know. BirdBrain came out with a wheel replacement kit, so that if one of the wheels gets stuck or whatever, you can replace it, which is cool. They didn't used to have that. So let us know if you need anything. We'll connect you with the right people at BirdBrain. Sweet. Any other questions about the program or about some of the projects? I really appreciated Karen's question about Teachable Machine and subscriptions. When we designed this program, we were really careful to think about how student data was being used in this. And furthermore, how the tool was going to be used for learning, not just about AI, but like you got stuff you got to teach. You already have a job. So we're really careful to choose projects and tools that could be used to do broader learning using AI rather than just teaching about AI, which we will learn about AI, but how can we do some ELA and some social studies as well? Let's see. Karen says, do you know if applicants are allowed to apply for another grant or other grants in years 2 and 3? I don't know that. I'm not sure. I believe the thing that I'm about to say, I have a 38% confidence level in. So take this with like a lot of salt. Well, salt this well, but we have a program, the University of Northern Iowa has a program, and the University of Iowa have a program. So there's only 3 programs. And I believe the intention is that all 3 of these programs will last 3 years. So would you be able to join a different program, like in year 1 with the University of Iowa program, in year 2, in like the second year? I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if anybody can speak to, like, have you applied for multiple Iowa STEM scale-up programs in the past and been awarded it? Have you, Shauna's saying, yeah, like during the same year, did you apply for multiple programs? And she's saying, yeah. So I guess in the past, teachers have applied for multiple programs and participated in them. So she did 3 in 1 year, said Karen. Okay, all right, crazy.
Yeah.
Matt.
I know we're forwarding some questions to the scale up team, so we could certainly forward that one as well and get back to you.
And when we get that clarification, we'll add that to the bottom of our page / the planning document. So we'll add it to the bottom of the page just in case you've already started that planning document. So the answers to these questions that we didn't know today, if you check back in a couple days, hopefully those will have answers to those, and those will be added to the bottom of our informational website. Good call. Yeah. I can't believe you did 3 programs in 1 year, Karen. Very impressed. Excellent. All right, well, we have about a minute left here before we're going to sign off. Any other burning questions that you can think of? Karen says it was a team effort. I should hope so. Good on you for having a good team. Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. It was a real pleasure talking about the program, and we wanted to put together something tight and informational and fun, and somewhere we get to see some push-ups. We thanks for demonstrating, Matt.
You got it. That's what I'm here for.